The next session is about collecting audience data using Smart Survey. So to collect audience data, we're going to click this link and go to the Audience Interview Survey. You can see here it's an offline survey, so I'm just going to check for updates, as we should always do before starting an offline survey, to make sure that you've got the latest version of the survey downloaded to your browser. So it's just checking there. Please wait while we load your survey. It says refresh your browser, but it should just do it automatically. So there we go. So you can see the offline survey menu here, and you can see there's no completed responses. So to start a new response, I just click Add New Response. And you can see here it takes us to the first page of the survey. And now I mentioned in the previous video that the way I'd set this up was that the first 4 questions could be answered whilst the volunteer enumerator, so the volunteer enumerator can complete these whilst the respondent reads the hard copy participant information. So you can see here the first question is about which city the survey is being completed for. It's multiple choice, but radio buttons, round buttons, mean that you can only select one option. So you could select other there if it's none of the snapshot census cities. Brief details of the event, artist or venue on census day or night. Which of the following best describes this live music event? So if it isn't any of those, and bear in mind there's multi-genre, e.g. function band at the bottom, then please specify what a different type of event. The next question really is for the volunteer to complete. So it's just so that we can check back if we need to follow up with you about anything that's been entered into the survey. So just make sure that you put your volunteer name here and ensure that we have your email address in case we have any follow-up questions. Okay, so whilst you're doing that, hopefully the audience member has read certainly the participant information in brief. They may wish to read the full participant information. If you watch the previous video, you'll see that there's a number of ways you can get to this. Either you can click on this link to go to the volunteer information section of the website. You can see here you can download it as a PDF or in these drop-down text boxes, and that's the full. That will give them the full participant information, which they should, by rights, really be reading. You should be recommended they do that. You can see here this will be the hard copy that you're going to have, the PDF. So the brief overview here, and then the in-depth is there. Okay, so going back to the audience interview survey, so you can see they by ticking below you confirm that you've read the participant information, consent to your personal information being used as described, and are happy to participate in this study. You must tick the box in order to move on to the next question. You can see there that the little red asterisk indicates that it's compulsory. So if I try to get to the next page without ticking it, you can see there is an error on your page, and you can see here the question requires an answer. So I have to tick that to be able to start the survey. Okay, so the first question is about how people found out about the live music event. Please tick all that apply. So this is multiple choice where they can tick as many as they wish, and there's an other please specify option there. The next 2 questions are about travel and transport. So we want to know how they travel to the venue for the census day night event. You can see there's a number of options there. On foot or walked is there if you're looking for it. The next question is about approximately how far in miles did you travel for the event you attended on census day or night. And notice here that we're asking for the round trip distance there and back again. So in miles, if I just go down to the local pub and it's sort of, you know, half a mile there and back again, I'd just put 1 down there. But if I've travelled, say, from Leeds to Sheffield or Sheffield to Leeds, then I'd say, well, that's about 30 miles plus about 30 miles, so that's 60 in total. Okay, the next questions are to help us to calculate the economic value of live music. So we need to know whether or not people actually planned their trips, particularly to go to the live music event. So it's either yes, no, or not applicable because they live locally. The next question relates to that question. So if they answered yes for this question, where are they staying? With friends or relatives, in paid accommodation. So for example, a hotel. Other, please specify, or again, not applicable because they live locally. The next question, we want them to estimate how much money they spent in the local area or surrounding region on themselves to attend the live music event. So we want to know how much they spent on local travel and transport, how much they spent food and drink, both at the venue but also outside the event or venue, merchandise, accommodation if they stayed away from home, ticket price, and then any other purchases. And you'll see here that if I start to put in numbers, the total automatically adds up at the bottom there. Okay, so now through to the next page. Live music value. So we want to know the three best reasons for, the main reasons for attending. It says here, choose a maximum of 3 answers. So if I try and choose 4 and then move on to the next page, you'll see that there's an error. So I then have to untick one of them and move to the next page. The next question is about how many live music events they attend per month. We've divided this into 4 different types. So there's concert and theatre venues or festivals, and also gigs, clubs and small venues. But we want to know about whether ticketed or free or non-ticketed. And you can see here there's some drop-down options. So a couple would be 1 or 2. There's also a comments box there if they want to expand on the answer they've given there. We also want to know about, on average, how much they're spending per month on tickets for concert or festival tickets. And you can see there's some drop-down options on gigs, clubs and small venues. And then also we want to know about recorded music. So how much they're spending per month on average on CDs, records, music downloads, streaming. I should just point out here, you can see the progress bar doesn't look like we've got very far through the survey. I should point out that actually the progress bar and these surveys is actually very misleading. You'll see in the next page that we're actually, it says here, and finally some quick questions about you. We're virtually at the end of the survey, so I think it's just worth highlighting to respondents that progress bar is actually a little bit misleading. So we're saying here this section is necessary for us to be able to meaningfully group respondents' answers, but we should point out that it's not compulsory for them to provide the data. So the first question is a drop down for their age group. The second, we're asking for their postcode, and I've asked there, please leave a clear space of 1 character between the 2 parts of the postcode. So I want it to look like that, not like that. And it's worth pointing out to people that the information will only be used for research, not for marketing purposes. The next question is obviously only relevant if they don't live in the UK. There's countries to choose from there. The next question is about gender, male, female, I prefer not to say, ethnic group, and then day-to-day activities limited because of health problem or disability, which has lasted or is expected to last at least 12 months. Okay, and I should just obviously highlight here that this is very personal, sensitive information, so it's imperative that you look after this data. Okay, so you can see here 57%, well, we're really virtually at the end. I click next page, and the next question is about access. The question is, do you have access requirements that need to be met in order to attend live music events? If no, so you put no here, click next page to enter the prize draw and finish the survey. So you just scroll through the whole thing and get to next page. Now, if they're saying yes, then there's a series of questions here which they may or may not wish to answer. So we're asking, did they look up disabled access information in advance of going to the event? Did they find what they needed? Did they contact the venue in advance to book or check anything related to access? And then there's a selection of things there. So that's a personal assistant ticket, book use of viewing at area accessible seating, check or arrange step-free access into the venue, check accessible toilet provision or any other. And then finally, would they like to hear about Attitude is Everything, the charity that works to improve deaf and disabled people's access to live music? Okay, so as I say, if they tick no at the top here, they can just whiz straight through to next page. If they took yes, they might be happy to answer some of these questions. So we go to next page, and then the final bit really is, if you would like to be entered into the prize draw to win an iPad, please give us your email address. And if I click here, it takes us to the terms and conditions, which are here, so you can see prize draw terms and conditions. And then please tick here if they're happy for us to get in contact with them for follow-up questions. And you can see here again how misleading this is, 86%, but actually I'm finishing the survey now. Okay, so you can see a response here. If you want to upload that individually, you can do. If you want to edit it, you can do. Obviously, you can delete it, but we'd recommend you don't. So then simply, just as you've done before, you upload all local responses. Remember, the password is always census and it's always case sensitive and lowercase. So CENSUS. Password is always census. Submit that. You can see it's authenticated successfully. Please try the upload options again. So you can see there's this little quirk here where it doesn't actually upload them. So it's authenticated you, but you still need to press upload again. Okay, so it's uploaded, and you can see that all the completed responses have now been uploaded. So that's the audience survey, the audience interview survey. The next video that I recommend that you go and watch is about good practice in sampling.